Hi, this is Kimberly St. John, the Healthy Mindset Nurse. If you have not already, please hit that subscribe button, and thanks so much for watching. So today I'm going to tell you a story. It is a true story that happened to me recently while being a nurse at my hospital. So a coworker of mine, thank you so much, she is an awesome nurse that I work with, and I actually told her this story the day after it happened, and she said, you need to share this story and how you handled it. So hopefully this will help you. So I had a really particularly difficult shift one day, as I'm sure you can all relate. I'm usually like, I got this, I got the mindfulness, practices, the grounding exercises, like I can usually handle a lot of stress. But this day I was floated to a different unit, and I've been floated to different units quite a few times, like not pretty regularly, but every now and then, and I can handle it. If you're a nurse, you're a nurse, and you ask for help when you need it. But this was a very difficult shift, being that it was, first of all, it was more patients than I was used to, because this unit, their nurse to patient ratio is higher than the cardiovascular unit that I work on. So that was one thing. It's just adding that extra patient is just, a little more when you're not used to it. But on top of that, they were all really what we call heavy patients, meaning that all of them had a lot going on. It wasn't just like, one or two of them was like pretty independent or just needed like minimal medications or getting ready to discharge. No, these were all very high acuity sick patients that I had. And it was like, from the minute I hit the ground, first of all, when you walk in and you're not expecting to float, and it's like, okay, you go to put your things down. Nope, you're going to whatever unit. Okay, so that, takes your mind a minute to like wrap around the thought of like being in a whole other unit. Okay, fine, whatever. Got this. Go to the other unit. But the minute I hit the floor, it was like, oh yeah, you've got this many patients, and you also have a new admission coming in right now, beginning a shift, and it's an unfamiliar unit, and the hallways on this unit are like way longer than I'm used to. Their supplies are in different places. And like I said, all of my patients were extremely high acuity. So I'd be in one room and I was like, okay, we've got one IV here, and this guy's got 4 things that I need to hang. What's compatible with what? Okay. All right. Got this. And then in the middle of figuring that out, a doctor would call and say, your patient in this room needs this stat lab. You need to go draw that because they've got a central line. We need you to draw that. I'm like, I haven't even like seen most of my patients yet, And then I'd run to another room, grab that. A different doctor would call about a different patient. Again, like hadn't even gotten my like initial head to toe, hi, how you doing? Update your care board. None of that. It was like hit the ground running, right? And I was trying to manage it, and I was trying to like, okay, I got this, but it was just really difficult. And I will not bore you with the details of how the entire shift went, but it was like that crazy high paced, crazy like ADD, like I don't even know where to start day, the entire shift. I made myself take a 15-minute lunch break at one point, and I didn't even feel like I could do that because I just felt like there were so many things hanging in the air even during that time, but I'm like, I have to eat, right? And so I did that, made myself eat, and sure enough, I came back to the floor and just felt like I was still so behind, and just like mountains of things to do, tons of messages from doctors, waiting to hear back from me, still having phone calls while I was on my lunch break. It was just insane, the entire shift. And, I don't get super overwhelmed or stressed out very much. That's why I like to teach things like that to you to help you, with things that I've learned, mindfulness practices, grounding exercises, positive, talking to yourself in a positive way and resetting your mind. But this day I was very challenged. So I really had to like put into action all of the things that I've learned and that I like to teach other people. So, needless to say, at the end of that 12-hour shift, I was just like, what was that? Questioning my career. What have I done? What am I getting myself into? Why am I torturing myself? Like, this is just crazy, right? So I get home, and instead of like continuing the negative self-talk and just like that downward spiral that that we can go to sometimes as nurses when things really get tough, I was like, take a deep breath. I'm home. Ground myself. I'm home. It's all done now. First of all, name 3 things that I did well today, because I could think of a million things that I feel like went wrong, right? But I was like, okay, I did this well. I did this well. And I did this well. No matter how small those things are, 3 things that you did well. So I did that. That helped kind of like calm my nervous system. And then I was like, okay, I'm scheduled to work tomorrow, and I'm going to give myself a choice here. If I feel like I need it, I am going to give myself a mental health call off day. I'm going to call the hospital, and I know, at least where I work, you have to call in a certain number of hours before your shift starts. But wherever you work, just know that, like, you want to give that next shift enough time to find a replacement nurse if need be. So you want to be respectful of that. But I was just like, okay, I'm going to go to sleep early. And if I sleep really well, I know that I'll wake up tomorrow feeling much better, much more grounded, much more well rested. And I know I will not be floating tomorrow because I just floated today. And I know that I'll be back on my home unit, and it was going to be a Saturday, because it was the Friday that was just like so insane. So I was like, it's going to be a weekend, which is usually a little more chill in the hospital, and I'm going to be okay. But if I need it, I'm going to call out and have a mental health day. And that's okay to do. In fact, it's actually really healthy to do every now and then. I very rarely call out. Like, if I call out, it's usually because I am really sick or I just really, really need it. Okay. So use your PTO, but use it wisely and respectfully. So I went to bed that night, and then I thought, sorry guys, my Sophie, what are you doing? My kitty cat Sophie is like, I don't know what she's doing. Anyway, so I went to bed, and I fell asleep, and I fell asleep like really hard, and I slept really well that night, thankfully. So I woke up the next morning, and I was like, okay, if I had woken up in the middle of the night or just was not able to sleep well, I was giving myself that grace and compassion to say, I will call out and take care of myself. But I didn't need to do that. If I had needed to do that, totally fine. But I woke up and I felt well rested, and I just knew it was going to be a better shift. And sure enough, thank God it was. I went in, I was on my home unit. It was a Saturday. And like I said, I told my coworker this story of how crazy the shift was the day before. And she was like, you need to share this. You need to share this because everybody like needs to understand that we all have shifts like this, no matter how experienced we are, where you're just going to go home and be like, that was like insane. And I feel like I'm pretty experienced at this point. Why am I coming home feeling like this? Well, it's normal. It's going to happen sometimes. No, you shouldn't go home feeling like this every day. That's not good. But every now and then you're going to have these really hard shifts. And when you do, how do you take care of yourself? So I hope this helps. Give yourself a mental health day if you really need it. Otherwise, just know that if you get a really solid night's sleep, you're going to wake up feeling much better and brighter and happier the next morning. Hope this helps. Thank you so much for all that you do. I love, when people thank me as a nurse for doing what I do, I like to just like share that to others, because we are all amazing nurses and amazing people, first and foremost. So remember to take excellent care of yourself today. Thanks.